How you doing out there, Love 52? This is week 17, and it's the beginning of the week, as you can tell, because we're here with the ducks. There's a few of them right over there. You know, and I just want to thank you again and encourage you to be a part of Love 52. It's about loving ourselves, and it's about spreading love. And so this week, I'm just going to share with you different stories, observations that I see through the week, and stories that I hear, and some examples of me loving, whether loving myself or loving others. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear stories and examples of you loving or being loved, you know. And I want to remind you that sometimes when we're loving others, they might not realize it. I shared with you the story last week about the man who took his car or his wife's car in to get serviced, and he changed the reason he was doing it, and it changed his experience. He identified she was important, identified ITEA, and it changed his experience. And it turns out she did know that he was loving her because they've had these conversations. So she's familiar with ITEA and knew what was going on. This week, I'm going to share with you stories and examples of love. Some of it is going to be my observations and what could be, maybe, love being observed. I don't go up and talk to strangers and you know, find out what their intention is and, hey, is this really love? I would like to, but I don't intrude like that. So, but I'm going to give you some examples, things I observe. I'm going to share with you stories that I hear about, and I'm going to share personal stories about loving or being loved. That's what this week's about. And remember, look, we have got to love ourselves. I heard this message yesterday. You know, it was a sermon, and the foundation of it was the passage or the scripture that says, love your neighbor as yourself. There's an implication there that you love yourself. And what we talk about here at Love 52 is, if you don't love yourself, you might not really be loving other people. You might call it love because you're doing something for them, but if you're doing it because it's a checkbox or because you feel obligated or it seems like the right thing to do, look, I don't really think that is loving. I think it's checking the box, and it changes our experience. So love yourself. That's why in the beginning of Love 52, at the beginning of our existence here, we were talking about ITEA and feeling important and realizing we are important, but doing it by investing ITEA in us. We started learning about this concept of ITEA, or the formulas, in application to ourselves. Why? So that we're not setting other people up with expectations. Because if we do all this learning through giving to others, we're going to expect something. So we did it for ourselves to remove expectation. And we did it for ourselves, you didn't know this, so that you could have a healthy foundation, so that you can maybe build some healthy self-confidence. And when you give ITEA to others, it can be more authentic. And so we started with loving ourselves, learning to love ourselves authentically, and so that we can love others authentically and not use them and, you know, perpetuate codependency and stuff like that. No, we're loving ourselves so we can love others authentically. And so this week, I'm just going to share with you observations that I make that looks like ITEA. And I'm going to share with you stories that I hear that has to do with ITEA. And when you hear stories of examples of things, I want you to think in terms of the person is important, ITEA is being given. I just want you to think like that as I give you these stories and examples this week. You heard last week, there was the example of the gentleman who took his wife's car in to get serviced. Remember, and I shared with you that he did it because she was important. He identified her being important. And then he did it recognizing and focusing on ITEA, and it changed his experience. not always when you give ITEA to others, not always will they know that you are loving them. But in this case, the gentleman's wife, they talk about ITEA, so she was familiar with what was going on and she recognized and knew she was being loved. That's not always going to happen. And don't worry if it doesn't. If your intention is because she's important or he's important, whether she realizes or he realizes or not, it won't matter. It won't matter. So don't worry about it. So I'm just going to give you one observation. I was at one of the major COVID-19 vaccination sites yesterday. And I see people working. I don't know if they're getting paid or volunteering, but you could see the smiles. Well, they had masks on. So, you know, when they smile, their eyebrows adjust. And you could see people, and it looked like they were smiling as they were either giving direction or helping people or answering questions for people. It looked like maybe ITEA. Maybe, I don't know. But I also saw people who were escorting other people to get their shots. There was this one situation. There were two elderly gentlemen in wheelchairs and two young men with them. It could have been grandsons or sons or great-grandson, or maybe they were paid, I don't know. But they were together, and then up rolls another older gentleman in his wheelchair with the young guy. And the young guys obviously knew each other, and they were giving fist bumps. Maybe one I saw a high five, I don't know. But they were giving fist bumps, and the older gentleman, you could see this, their posture became more erect, and they were, you know, the eyebrows, like a smile. And there was this happiness to be together and to see each other. And the young guys seemed happy to see each other and to see the elder gentleman. And I'm guessing the younger guys weren't getting their shots. For one, they had long sleeves on, so, you know, it's hard to get a shot like that. But it just looked like a situation where there was importance in each other and ITEA being given. And then I saw other people escorting other people, you know, and some were getting shots and some weren't. It could have been ITEA. I was there. It was ITEA for me because the person I was with is important to me. And I went for that reason. I didn't get my shot yet. I tried to get my shot. I asked them if they had extra ones. I did do that. They didn't. They did not, so don't worry. But ITEA, it was taking place right there at this huge convention center. Tons of people. There'll be more stories this week, and I want to hear from you. So if you've got some, please DM me, email me, let me know. I'll share your name if you let me, or I'll just make it, you know, anonymous. All right, take care. We will talk. Say bye to the ducks if you can see them. They're hiding under the tree. Take care. Bye.